Good morning. Welcome to First Parish Brewster. First Parish Brewster Unitarian Universalist occupies land that was home to the Wampanoag people for thousands of years before European colonists violated their sovereignty and assaulted their people, livelihood, and culture. Acknowledging this history, we honor the resilience and strength of today's Wampanoag tribe. Our church, founded in 1700, is part of a living tradition, one that draws wisdom from all the world's religious traditions, balanced with the insights of modern science. Here we call ourselves seekers after truth and practical goodness. Because with all there is to know, the one thing we can all be sure of is that none of us have all the answers. We do, however, believe in the power of questions we ask ourselves, curiosity we hold out for one another, and inquiries about how to make this world a better place, one good word and deed at a time. I'm the Reverend Julia Jones. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the more sarcastic half of your First Parish ministry team. I am joined today by Reverend Scott, the decidedly nicer half. And we want to offer our gratitude to E.J. Mills Brennan, to David Sutherland for their musical offerings this morning, Anna for her steadfast leadership with our young people, to our greeters, to our ushers, to our tech team, and to the members of Cove who make so much possible all week long. Now, let us offer our physical welcome to our online friends. We are so delighted that you've chosen to spend this time with us. If you're visiting with us this morning, a very special welcome to you also. If you'd like information about First Parish and all the fabulous things we do here, you are invited to fill out a welcome card, or if you'd prefer, you can drop us a note at administrator@First Parish Brewster, and we will happily endeavor to hook you up with all manner of information and opportunities. Today, we celebrate our 325th birthday. We also celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. Celebrating both of these important events diminishes neither, and in fact, raises the way we straddle tension in our history every day. We continue to be interconnected as we work for a better world. With that said, immediately following today's service, we will be celebrating our birthday and welcoming us, again, thank you, with the historic Harvest Potluck. This will be held in the parish room, not on the Winslow House lawn, for probably pretty obvious reasons not too long from now. Everybody is welcome. I'm reminded that space will be tight, but know you can eat anywhere in the building except in the sanctuary. The note had 4 exclamation marks, so I think they're pretty serious about that. As a courtesy, you're asked to leave some seating for kids and our friends who are not as abled. Also, there are celebratory mugs for sale, a minimum of $10 donation to seed the fund for the restoration of our clock. After lunch, so at 12:15, there will be a short program and fun activities here in the sanctuary, followed by open mic performances by our talented members. A couple of additional announcements for the good of the order. We will not be having CYM today. The parents are already aware of that. However, if there are young people here who wish not to be in here, they are still welcome to go downstairs, hang out, do some crafts, that kind of thing. And there will be a moment in the service where it's clear that it's time to make that shift. Tomorrow, October 13th, the First Parish Brewster office will be closed. If you had planned to meet in Winslow House, please be sure someone in your meeting party has access. Finally, please note that there will be a No Kings rally on Saturday the 18th right here at First Parish from 2 to 3:30. Woohoo, indeed. There are several other rallies throughout the Cape at different times that day, so you could turn it into a protest marathon if you have the stamina for that kind of thing. Pack a sandwich and maybe a chair. Details for times and locations and so much more information are available in the Weekly Angle, patiently awaiting your rapt perusal in your inbox. All of that is in the future. Let's take a moment to ground ourselves firmly in this moment, in the present, in this one space and time, by taking a deep breath in and then letting it go. And another. Continue to breathe with intention as we receive EJ's gift. And with each release of your breath, try to let go of whatever you need to let go of to be more open to the possibility of this time and place and the sacredness that it has to offer.
My chalice lighting words this morning come from Eric Hepburn, who writes, "We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love remains." Please rise and body your spirit as we recite the affirmation of our church. And do remain standing. After that, we're going to greet our neighbors. Now, for fun, I've been given the suggestion, John, that we should try something different. So what I want you to do is, folks on this side, turn this direction, and folks on this side, turn that direction. And if you're looking at your affirmation, what I'd like you to do is people on the left, you are going to read the regular text. And
His left.
My left. This side, you're going to read the regular text, and this side, you're going to read the italics text. You ready? Let's do it. We believe in love. Love is the doctrine of the church. We believe in truth.
The quest for truth is a sacrament.
We believe in helping others.
And service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. While we're standing, let's greet our neighbors since you were just talking to them about all these things. We're going to sing, so don't sit down. Please join me in singing hymn number 323. See, you sat down. Break not the circle. Please be seated.
you need a mic? Yeah. So today's our birthday. Yeah, right? And that means fun and food later, but it also means something else. It's powered up.
Oh,
Ah,
whoa. We have no children here. I think this is the first time I've ever been here without one child. So you are my children. So we're going to do the traditional thing that you do at a birthday and sing happy birthday to first Paris Brewster. And I'd like you to join me because you don't want me to be the only one singing. All right, are you guys ready? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, Bruce Parish Brewster. Happy birthday to you.
yay!
Thank you all.
Excellent. So we are not going to sing the kids out because they've already left. So we will move right on to our offering. So let's go ahead and do that. To give is to remember that we belong to one another. Home is not only where we live, it is how we love. Today's offering was nominated by Building a Bigger Table, that task force. It supports the Housing Assistance Corporation, whose work weaves safety and hope for thousands of neighbors across Cape Cod and the islands. You can find more information in the order of service. May this act of giving be a blessing, turning gratitude into grace and shelter into sacred ground. The offering will now be very gratefully received.
hoping for them to come down. So I didn't know.
Thank you for the gifts, the work they represent, and the work that they will yet do. If you would join me in the attitude of respect and prayer. Spirit of compassion, named or nameless, within and among us, teach us to tend. Tend to ourselves and to each other. May we tend to tenderness as patiently as seeds in spring. May our hearts be soft enough to feel another's ache, strong enough to hold that ache with grace. When we fail, may we begin again, gently, with compassion for ourselves. May this be our hope and vow, to practice love until it takes root. Amen. In the moment of silence to follow, you are invited to speak aloud into this compassionate community the names of those you are holding in your heart today. Thank you. Please remain seated. We're going to sing our hymn of compassion. That's Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal. Thank you. My reading this morning comes from author Joy Harjo. She writes this: Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each other's star stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away to night. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, and their histories too. talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember that you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is, that life is. Remember.
When I taught U.S. history, there was always a chapter called The Explorers. But as you know, exploration wasn't the whole story. Every first encounter changed the world for those who arrived and for those who were already here. As I was doing some reading and thinking about our own first parish history, I ran across a name that had slipped through the cracks of my teaching experience. My immediate association with the name Verrazano was the bridge that I took to avoid going through New York City when visiting friends on Long Island. I see some of you made that same choice. The Verrazano Bridge is North America's longest suspension bridge. It spans the port of New York Harbor, is the starting point of the New York City Marathon, and provides a direct connection to Staten Island, no matter how anybody on either side of that connection feels about it. The bridge is an architectural wonder, and it seems only right that it should be named after Giovanni de Verrazano, an Italian explorer commissioned by the King of France to find passage through North America to Asia for trade. Verrazano traveled from Florida up through the Carolinas and then explored our own northeastern coast. While his mission was firmly grounded in France's hope for profit, the sea captain seemed to be driven, at least in part, by the salty wind of wonder and curiosity as he approached and interacted with people who lived here. He was enamored of the native population, remarking on their physical beauty, their gentle manner that he compared with those of the ancients. We're not sure what he meant by that, but it was clear that this was positive. He also described the abundance of resources available to that population, an accounting that may have contributed to the region's settlement in years to come. His travel logs, dating from the early 16th century, describe the shimmer of a northeast coastline alive with villages, dotted by the spark and smoke of fires in the night. Between Verrazano's journey and the Puritan ships, a great deal of change happened on these shores. Interest in the New World and its economic promise created intense competition. Legal decisions had been made by popes, and courts in the doctrine of discovery and the Treaty of Tordesillas that divided these resource-laden land prizes between European powers, regardless of the fact that people already lived here. Ships from all over Europe made haste to take advantage of the established network of indigenous trade, to sell European tools, textiles, weapons, and with that commerce came the violence of a slave trade of indigenous people and also a plague of disease so devastating that by the time the Puritans arrived, shores that once shimmered and sparked with life were now dark and silent. Records from Puritan immigrants reflect a horror story. Human bones and skulls on the ground of what they imagined to be their new homeland. Any wonder they might have felt surely quashed by landing in what they called Golgotha, which translates as the place of the skull and is the name of the place where Jesus was crucified. While indigenous populations were very small on the Cape and in coastal Massachusetts by that time, the Wampanoag people still existed and lived here in small villages. The Puritans did not encounter them with the wonder and romanticism that Verrazano had, but instead arrived with a certainty about their own superiority and what scholar Ned Blackhawk calls ideas of immutable difference, by which they set themselves apart from indigenous populations. Puritan colonization transformed the very landscape and human relationships with it by enclosing land, introducing invasive crops and livestock, changes that widened the gap between these two cultures. Josiah Payne, in his History of Harwich, tells us that the sail, which appears to have transferred much of what's now Brewster, including this very spot, to the English, occurred in 1657 for a sale price of 58 English pounds. You'd be lucky to get lunch for 58 English pounds in Brewster today. The agreement promised indigenous people continued use of the land. Ownership of land was an unfamiliar concept to the Wampanoag, and it seems likely that they believed the money received was intended to sweeten the relationship of shared access to that land. As this land transferred to descendants or other buyers, the Wampanoag's rights to use that land came to an end. Persistent and often violent encroachments by colonists on Wampanoag land led to confrontations in which Native people lost more land. Although the indigenous communities on Cape Cod did not join the Wampanoag people who fought in Metacom's War of 1675 and 6, the laws that were passed subsequent to that applied to all of the Wampanoag people and again made it easier for colonists to claim native land. As more settlers arrived, surviving Wampanoags on the Cape largely moved to the native community at Mashpee. Many of the other villages ceased to exist. This is the heritage that laid the foundations of our present reality. Our congregation, established here, was steeped in the waters of its time, as its members included slave owners and folks who had perhaps participated in and surely benefited from English notions of land ownership, property purchases, and inherited estates. We've been here for 325 years. and as such, are part of this initial violent establishment. And we exist in a society where ways of thinking, ways of being, and ways of governing and banking benefit European offspring over individuals descended from other cultural heritages and ethnic backgrounds. I'm proud to say that our Racial and Indigenous Justice Allies Task Force has done significant work to uncover the facts around our early church's role in the institution of chattel slavery and the slave trade, and to understand the impact of early settlement on the Wampanoag people of Massachusetts and Cape Cod specifically. The worship service the task force presented in 2021, which you can watch on YouTube, was neither the beginning nor the end of their and our collective work, but represents significant strides in honestly claiming all sides of our shared institutional heritage. Our longevity is based, at least in part, on the privilege that we have already acknowledged. We know that it's easier for institutions such as this one to survive in the United States. Our history, however, also speaks to a steadfast effort to move toward greater truth, greater accountability, and a more honest expectation of actions that live up to the part of our tradition that asks that we love, that we seek justice, that we learn to live as neighbors. Movements in this direction were incremental, and our early pulpit was dominated by puritanical rigidity and a great deal of fire and brimstone. Our own records suggest that it was our sea captains, some of who likely participated in the slave trade, who brought new religious ideas back with them and helped to chart a new theological course in the direction of a more liberal tradition starting in the 1830s when First Parish became a Unitarian church. The wealth generated by the sea trade also brought us our organ. Our early members and captains passed generational wealth and property down to their descendants, and that wealth continues to fill our collection plates. It is this tension of our establishment and its legacy that we celebrate and lament on this day when we look forward to punishing wind and rain as our songs ring out on stolen land. If we are a boat on the water, we list from side to side with the pride of place and legitimate joy that we feel in our community, and the other side, the horror of all that came before. Our values have led us in the direction of doing much to help, to hold, to repair. And these efforts can be seen in our history through the First Parish Ladies' Sewing Society, which admitted men by request, by the way, and who provided for local families in need, for congregations that were struggling to survive, and even for Union soldiers. These values are also demonstrated by the leadership of Reverend Jack Mendelson, who served briefly in the 40s and saw his role as firmly establishing a year-round home of the liberal religion that he saw was a comfort to so many on the Cape. Later in the 50s, Reverend Charles DeVries was labeled a communist for railing against McCarthyism in the Cape Codder. And of course, our beloved Reverend Jim Robinson firmly established this congregation as one that welcomes all. We've come a long way from that Calvinist puritanical fire and brimstone that still lives and breathes in these United States. But we still live here, not on land that was discovered, but on land once inhabited by people that were bombarded with disease and then used as resources rather than living souls with inherent dignity and worth. Today, the bloodlines of those communities are carried on in the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, the Wampanoag tribe of Akina, and the Herring Pond Band of Wampanoag, who maintain a thriving presence in our region. Wampanoag people have been working to reclaim their language after intentional campaigns to eliminate Native culture over centuries. They developed the highly successful Wampanoag Language Reclamation Project and a school, Witumo, to teach language, culture, and community. Children and adults are regaining their language, reestablishing ties to their culture, to their values, and to their ancestors. We, at First Parish, are actively contributing to that project by offering financial support to the school. This contribution is the result of a direct request from the community after our task force nurtured relationships to learn more, to befriend, and to be informed as the best way to engage in the work of relationship and repair. The task force's work is to be commended, and as it continues and our relationships deepen, other opportunities may arise to work on that relationship and repair. But the truth is, our society aches from the repeated wounds of deep and sustained inequity. We must repeat what we've learned from the work of our task force to move from the culture and systems enabled by the doctrine of discovery to a culture with systems based on the doctrine of interdependence. We must repeat that work and mirror it in other relationships, because justice work is never a once and done. DJ Smooth tells us that anti-racism work is like brushing your teeth. We eat every day, and sometimes it's Oreos. And we must therefore also perform dental hygiene. The truth is, our world immerses us in systemic inequality and injustice all of the time. And we must perform the hygiene of checking our own thinking, checking to see if we have crumbs in our teeth. We must check our choices, our motivations, and our values in order to act in alignment with what we know to be true. In truth, we're all harmed by the stunning inequities that characterize our current political and economic systems. We are all harmed when people cannot afford medical care. We are all harmed when people cannot afford a place to live. We are all harmed by violence done in our names to the powerless. We cannot undo what has been done. We cannot undo what has been done. But we can decide that the story we write from here, our next 325 years, will be a story of restoration, of reverence, and of right relationship. Amen. Happy birthday. Please join me in singing our closing hymn. Ooh, you got me. Number 121, We'll Build a Land. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, and 4. So skipping 3. It's probably the easier way to say that. 1, 2, and 4. Please rise in body or spirit.
please remain standing. My chalice extinguishing words also come from Eric Hepburn, who writes, "We extinguish this flame to remind us love is at the center, and we explore and rest, engage and heal. Love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains."
If you're comfortable, beloveds, I'd ask you to join hands. As we leave this sanctuary and the safety of our congregational home today, let us be explorers still of justice, of truth, of relationship. Let us use the abundance of our privilege not to build fences or cages, but to build larger tables. Let us live as neighbors, not conquerors, not warriors. Let us speak with the language of love for the earth beneath us, for the ancestors before us, and for all of our relations. Amen. Amen. Please join us for celebration.